Hello, everybody. Hello. Hey, hey, hey. Um, yeah, y'all coming up in here tonight. What in the world? Hey, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for joining tonight. And I'm so delighted. Janice, always good to see you. Yeah, we missed you. We missed you, Janice. Yeah, good to see you. Hey, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I am so ready for our Tuesday night um, small group class tonight. So listen. Tell me how you doing. Tell me how was your day. If it was great, just type one word, great. Hope your day was great. Hey, y'all remember what we the four things from yesterday that happens when you are in covenant with God? Y'all remember? Did you watch? Did you watch? All right, number one, when you are in covenant, when you are a tither, he becomes a provider for you. All right. Number two, you discover you are protected. All right. Number three, where we at? Number three, yeah, you are a participant when you're in covenant. Number four, when you are a tither, you receive what? You receive the promises. Actually, before we go any further, I want to give you two promises, as I stated on Sunday, two promises that tithers receive when they are in covenant with God. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 9 through 10. It says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing. And your vats will brim with new wine. Yeah, God says, when you honor me, your tithe is a formal act of worship. Your tithes is a formal act of worship. All right, it's a formal act of worship. When you bring it to the house of God, you start living in the overflow. When you bring the tithe to the house of God, you start living in the overflow. And so, what God does for the tither is produce the same wine that he had at the wedding at Canaan. I remember the wedding at Cana, the Bible says they ran out of wine. Mary said to Jesus, there is no more wine. We are fresh out. All right. She says, we need you to perform the miracle. And he says, it ain't my time. So she says, do whatever he says. She totally ignores the negative. I think that is something that we can really just briefly talk about, is that sometimes what if God gives you the no, are you still persistent to continue to come in his face? If he gives you the no. All right. And so they take six water pots, they fill them to the brim. That's in John here. And he says that I'm quoting tonight from Proverbs 3 9 through 10. John chapter 2 is a manifestation of Proverbs chapter 3. God says, I will make sure that you never run out. All right, that's your first promise. We talked about that Sunday. The first promise of a tither is that you never run out. All right, Luke chapter 6, verse 38. I hope you're tracking with me. Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Give and it will be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Right? When Jesus says that when he says that, he's saying it to the farmers, and he's saying this to farmers in the middle of harvest season. He's saying this to farmers in the middle of harvest season. So he says you have a bag that you place your harvest in. Okay? You have a bag that you place your harvest in, whether it's corn, whether it's barley, whether it's wheat. You place it in the bag because it's the sign of harvest. All right. So the only way you can leave off to know what it is you have produced, you have to, as we said this past Sunday, you have to weigh it. We talked about weighing it, weighing your harvest. The grocery store used to have these scales that you would go in and weigh, so what you get in this harvest is going to be a good measure. All right. I know that inflation has caused things to rise. And so where 20 years ago you used to get more for less, now you're paying more, but you're getting less. Yeah. So things have actually changed. And so it is now, he says, it's going to be a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So when Jesus says this, he's saying to the farmers in the middle of harvest season, he says, I'm going to make sure that you have a good measure for what you have sown. All right. But after you measure it, don't walk out, because he says, I need you to put your foot on it. Because when you take the bag, remember, I hope y'all tracking. When you take the bag, you pour in what's there. You take your foot and you press it down. Why? Because you want to get more in the bag. Pressed down, shaken together. So I talked about that. I won't take the time to go over, because I need to get to the next section of opening the heavens. So number one was provision. Number two was protection. Number three was being a participant. Number four was promises. Number five, tithing pays. It pays. Yeah, yeah. And so I want to talk about the open heaven, because what does it pay? Well, Lady A couldn't wait, because she said, you know what? You cheated me. You didn't get to how tithing pays, and I want to know, how does it pay? Yeah, yeah. She was letting me have it in the car. Yeah, she want to know, how does tithing pays. All right. So let's get there tonight. What the windows of heaven? It pays. Here's what we're gonna deal with tonight. This is all I'm gonna deal with tonight, and I hope you writing, because I'm gonna say some stuff tonight. Y'all ready? Set. Let's grow. All right. So when you talk about, he says, I'll open unto you the windows of heaven. When you read in the Old Testament, you discover that windows of heaven appears 3 times in scriptures. The windows of heaven appears 3 times in scripture. All right. To understand what God is describing in Malachi chapter 3, verse 10, you have to go back and look at the other examples of the windows of heaven. All right. You have to go back and look at the other examples of the windows of heaven. All right. So you have to go to Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. Okay, go to Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. If you click off this live tonight, you will really miss what a blessing looks like. Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. All right, Genesis 7 and 11. Y'all get there. All right, Genesis 7:11 says this: in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day where all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven. In other words, the levees on heaven broke, and it says the windows were opened. All right. What happened when the windows opened? Well, to find out what happened when the windows opened, let's go to Genesis chapter 7, verse 19. All right, we're going to do a little study in the night. Genesis 7:19. I had my paperwork, but I forgot it. All right, got all that stuff printed but left it. Genesis 7 and 11. Y'all got that? Genesis 7 and 11 we talked about, but we're in Genesis 7:19 now. All right, so 7:19, Genesis 7:19 says, and the waters prevailed exceedingly where? Upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. You couldn't even run to when the heavens opened, you couldn't even run to a high place for safety. There was no high place, because when heaven opens, there's no place you can run. There's no place you can hide, because heaven opens. All right? Watch this. So much rain came pouring through the window. Watch, came pouring through the window, that the earth was flooded, and rain poured and poured and poured. All right? It was flooded. So the first time the windows of heaven were open, something abundant came pouring through it. You said, how does it pay? I'm getting ready to tell you. Hang with me. So the first time the heavens opened, the rain came out and an abundance came pouring through it. But the second time was when the children of Israel was wandering through the wilderness. All right? And for 2 months they had been walking through the wilderness. Now their food supply is running low. All right? That for 2 months they're walking through the wilderness, food supply running low. All right? They began to complain and murmur about their situation. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 16, verse 4. Exodus 16 and 4. Exodus 16 and 4. Are you tracking with me? Exodus 16 and 4. All right, it says this. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread. All right, y'all missed it. Let me see if I can come get you. The first time heaven opens, water comes out. All right. Second time, he says substance is coming out. Y'all missed it. All right. Let me take you over to Hebrews. Yeah. Faith is the, oh, y'all catching this. Y'all catching it. It's the substance of things hoped for. So the second time the heavens open, substance come out. He says this, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day, gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow instructions. All right, let me see if I can get y'all. The second time the heavens open, it's substance, right? He says, I'm going to give you enough blessings and breakthrough, but I'm going to see if you're going to continuously get it if you follow my instructions. He said, I'm going to test them. Because if you don't follow the instructions, things dry up on you. That's how it pays. Write that down. Your obedience keeps the flow coming. You stop being obedient, the flow will continue. It will look like for a moment you got away with it. But all it is that it was so much, it's still coming, but you don't see at the end of the parade, it dried up. So you think, oh, I'm still good. It's still coming after week. But there's a day coming that it dries up. And when something dries up, it takes a long time for you be waiting and it be matriculating down, and it takes a while to get to you. Did y'all catch that? So your obedience is causing the payoff. Watch this. Here it is. Because he says they're going to gather enough every day. As long as you are obedient, there's a flow coming to you. Heaven's open. All right?
With that, you have to have the faith too that tomorrow it's coming again. Otherwise, you're gonna want to store up. Like if you don't trust that something is coming the next day, you're gonna want to get off the can that day while it's there.
Here's the good thing about that. He wouldn't allow them to store, because if they stored, it would rot. It would stink, and they wouldn't want it. Which means it's making you trust God. All right, y'all with me? All right. So Psalm 78. So the first time the heaven opened, what happens?
Rain.
Water comes out. Rain. Second time, what happens? Substance. Here, Psalms 78, verse 23 through 25. Psalms 78, 23 through 25. God, and it says, and opened the doors of heaven. Wait a minute. Wait. We've always talked about a window, right? Now a door from heaven opens. Watch this. And had rained down manna upon them to eat, giving them the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full, right? Meat represents maturity. All right. Now we're maturing. We're getting the mature blessing. Oh, I hope you're catching this tonight. The mature blessing. There are too many people, they want the milk, which means immaturity. So you keep asking just for money, not realizing when you get mature, never ask for his hand, ask for his heart. A married person never, or somebody's getting ready to be married, they do not ask for the person's pocket. They don't ask what's in your pocket. They're asking for your heart. Because if your heart is in it, when your pocket is low, we'll still be together. So Psalm 78, it's a door. Watch so here we go. Let's watch. Let's watch. Let's watch the progression. We got a window, we got a door, all right? A portal. Somebody write, type windows, doors, portals. Yeah, windows, doors, portals. And God opened it. And when God opened the windows of heaven, what happened? It rained down manna upon them, and even men ate angels' food. All right. The psalmist tells us in verse 23 that the windows of heaven was open, and the results is revealed in verse 24. All right. The manna began to rain and rain and rain upon them, just like when the window opened in Genesis 7. Right. This time, instead of rain, it's what? Manna. It's manna. All right. So much manna. God, this gonna bless us and blow our minds tonight. So much manna, watch this, they didn't have enough room to receive it. Y'all ever heard that? That he'll bless you so much that you won't have room enough to receive it? I don't think we understand the magnitude of that statement. And I'm going to tell you the magnitude of that statement tonight. All right? So much manna, it failed when the window opened. But my question is that nobody asked, how much manna failed? How much manna fell? All right. How much manna fell through that window? Let's talk about it. All right. Rabbinical law literature says this. In rabbinical literature says manna fell in such abundance daily. Watch this. The manna fell in such abundance daily that it spread out more than over 2,000 square cubics with a depth of 50 to 60 cubics. You said I don't understand that. All right, let me break that down. In other words, a single day of manna would have been enough to feed the children of Israel for 2,000 years. Did y'all catch that? A single day's supply of manna would have been enough to feed the children of Israel for 2,000 years. Maybe that explains the phrase, you will not have room enough to receive it. In one day, there was enough manna to feed for over 2,000 years. Generational wealth. Somebody type generational wealth in the chat. Generational wealth. So rabbis have made a rough estimate of how much manna, watch this, was needed. God gave far more than what was needed. If there were, write this, 3 million Jews, children of Israel, 3 million that came out of Egypt. Now, within itself, that is just that's mind blowing because 3 million people leave out of Egypt. Can you imagine how long it would have taken for 3 million people to walk out of a city? 3 million? Oh my Lord. 3 million people walk out of a city. This is amazing. All right. The 3 million walk out and they get nervous when they get to the Red Sea. I'd be nervous too because 3 million people, that's a lot of people, right?
In the back.
Oh,
I'd be nervous.
so 3 million people are now 3 million Jews. Watch this. They need approximately 4,500 tons of manna daily. Come on, y'all. Did y'all hear that? Not 45 thousand, not 4,500, not 45,000, 4,500 tons of manna needed to fall daily to feed 3 million people. It fell, watch this. The Bible says it fell. Rabbis have said it fell for 40 years. Okay, y'all missed that. Y'all missed that. It fell for 40 years, right? It means at the end of those 40 years, if you add it all up, write these numbers down, 65,700,000 tons of manna fell. 65,700,000 tons of manna fell. Wow. I got to run because the saints are cold in here. Mess around, I'm going to have to go outside.
Right?
All right. So watch this. So that means an entire generation for 40 years grew up in the wilderness thinking it was normal to wake up and find 4,500 tons of blessings laying on the ground. Come on, Lorraine, what are you saying? Normal. We get excited over miracles when it should be the children's bread. Let me connect the dots for you. It should be normal. Let me connect the dots for you. Remember the woman who comes, right? She comes and says she comes and she's hungry, and he says he says I can't give the children's bread to you. She says even the crumbs that fall from the table. Yeah, remember that? He was saying to her, I can't give you the generational wealth that keeps falling for the children. She said, well, yeah, but can you at least spare some crumbs for those who ain't a part?
I'll take the crumbs of that blessing.
4,500 tons daily laying on the ground. They thought it was natural to see the blessings of the Lord. I wonder if we change our mind and our perspective. It's like God did this miracle. Did you not think he was going to do it?
Right.
It should be normal. That's normal. Yeah. What would blow my mind is if he didn't do it.
Right.
What if we did it what if we thought in reverse and say, God didn't do it? Oh, now I'm blown. Because I would have thought he would have done it. All right, I gotta go. I gotta keep going. Watch this. A whole generation woke up thinking it was normal to wake up and find 4,500 tons of manna on the ground. They were born when it was happening. That means there were people having babies. While they producing babies, manna's falling. Manna's falling like rain. It's falling like snow. So they're born into generational wealth. They don't know what it's like not to have it. So when you talk about having a silver spoon in your mouth, they were born with it. All right? They saw it for 40 years. They didn't know life. Write this down, y'all. They didn't know life without supernatural provision. They didn't know what life was like without supernatural provision. That's what happened when the windows of heaven opened over the children of Israel. So when I gave the fifth one yesterday about heaven being a tither pays, it brings you into a generational wealth that heaven wants to give to you. Somebody say, I'll take that. I'll take it. Yeah. But watch this. You cannot claim it without being a tither. Giving your time, your talent, your treasure. If all you spend your money on is your hair, your nails, your feet, your belly, that's your God. Are y'all with me? All right, here's what happened. Now let's return to Malachi chapter 3. God says, if you bring, like they turn the heat on, look like if you bring all the tithes into the storehouse, he says, test me now, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open unto you the what? Yeah, 4,500 tons. If I won't open unto you the windows of heaven, pour you out. Watch this. Did y'all see? I think y'all read this and you don't read it correctly. Malachi 3 and 10. Read it. Y'all got it? Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. See, won't I open unto you the windows of heaven and pour you out what?
Blessing.
Stop. Read it again. Pour you out.
Blessing.
One translation says, pour you out a blessing. Because if I pour you out blessings, more than 4,500 tons is coming out. So I got to pour you out just a blessing. Oh, I'll take that too. Y'all not talking. I'll take that too. All right? I'll pour you out a blessing. Yeah. So huge, you will not have room enough to receive it. This means we need, write this down, to upgrade our believing. You got to upgrade your belief, upgrade your expectation. I need somebody to type, I'm due for an upgrade. Oh, I'm due for an upgrade. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been functioning in this mindset just long enough. I'm due for an upgrade. Yeah, yeah. Why do I get excited just for a piece of something when he wants to give me the whole shopping center? Okay. Rather than God, I'm giving so you can meet the little need in my life. God doesn't just want to give you fragments. Type that. God don't just want to give me fragments, but he desires to fill the table until it's overflowing. All right? God wants to open the windows of heaven over your life. We need to renew our minds to what God wants to give us. All right? But there's one more promise. Y'all ready? I mean, I could stop right here. That's enough right here, and we can go home. That's just, this is just good by itself. Watch this. There's one more promise. Malachi chapter 3, verse 11. Malachi chapter 3, verse 11. 3 and 11. Type that in the chat. Malachi chapter 3 and verse 11. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. I'm going to be done for tonight. Malachi chapter 3 and verse 11. Y'all ready? Y'all got it? He says, and I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. All right? I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. Watch this. Which means when we open our hands to give, God opens his mouth. Y'all miss your shout right there. When we open our hands to give, God opens his mouth. Wow. I hope y'all caught that right there. Let me say this again. When we open our hands, our life, our gift, our time to him, he opens his mouth. Yeah. When you open your hands to obey God with your finances, God opens his mouth, watch this, and rebukes the devourer for your sake. He says, move off that person. Yeah, 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 yeah. As my grandma used to say, I feel my help coming out. Yeah. He when you obey God, he tells the remember I told this story yesterday. I told the story about when I took my dog out and the bigger dog barked like he was coming for my dog. My dog froze in his tracks, right? Not knowing I'm getting ready to get devoured. But the owner of the dog gave the bigger dog one command. And the one command he gave the bigger dog was sit. The dog might have in his mind said, I'm going to tear you apart, salivating because he's after the little dog, right? But he could not move because he was constrained by the words of the master. Why am I afraid of the enemy when my God has it all under control? Where y'all been? Where y'all been? Yeah. That's why he looks at you, and I can only imagine the scriptures being quoted like this with a indignation, like I'm upset. I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but of love, joy, peace, and of a sound mind. No, I didn't tell you to lose your mind because they left you. I didn't tell you to lose everything you got because you didn't get the promotion. No, I'm still your God that'll pour out 4,500 tons. Y'all missed that. Y'all missed that. Remember, I told you last week? The woman came and she gave only 2 copper pennies, right? And Jesus says, wait, y'all, she gave everything. She gave more than what any of you all have given. But here's the part that most folk miss. There were millionaires around. So all she needed to do was get the master's favor. When you get favor, God will cause other people to pull you up. That's why he says, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure. Watch this. Here it is. Shall men, y'all missed the part, good part. Shall men give unto your life? You missed that. We know that first part, but we miss the second part because the second part applies that he wants people to bless you. That's why he said, you robbed me, even this whole nation. How did we rob you, God? We didn't hold you at gunpoint. He said, you robbed me when you failed to fulfill your end of the bargain. Because had you fulfilled your end, I had folk. I wanted to bless you so much that you could bless everybody that walked through these doors. You know what I wanted to do one day? I want to walk into the restaurant to eat and tell the owner lock the doors, right? I want to stand up and say, everybody in here, your bill on me today, and sit down and eat like I ain't did nothing. Why? I want to be so blessed. Even if they didn't lock the door, because I know that could be a hazard, but even if they didn't lock the door, to say, listen, anybody that's in here now, I got your ticket today. I don't care if it's 100 people in there, I got your ticket. How can you say that? Listen, can you imagine going to Ruth Chris, telling everybody, I got your ticket today? See, you can say that because when God blesses you in such abundance, it's a tax write-off. Okay, which means I got so much. It's like God, please bless those that are at this table tonight with 4,500 tons of manna. Let it come out of heaven and translate into resources, money. Lord, bless those on this live. Yeah. So watch this. He'll tell the enemy, move off of that person. That individual is a generous giver. You got no business on their finances. You ain't got no business on their marriage. You ain't got no business on their health. Move. Move out the way. Go sit down. All right. So number one, write this down, and I'm gonna be done. Write this down. I gotta close. Write this down. God is listening to us, right? He knows our heart condition. Number two, He tells us, he tells you to return to him. He tells us to return to him and make it right. Right? Number three, he tells us how to make a generous offering. You said, I give. No, 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 no. You giving out of your leftovers. I need you to give Tilly. David, remember I quote the Sunday. David said, I ain't giving nothing that didn't cost me anything. Have you ever given till you had to laugh at what you gave? Listen, did I really just give $100? Did I really just give that? Did I really just give? And I need that for the rest of the week. Number four, he will open the windows of heaven over your life. Number five, y'all ready? Y'all writing this down? Y'all catching this? Let me recap before I read five. Number one, he's listening to us. He's watching what you give and how you give. He's watching what you give and how you give. You giving it with a stingy attitude, he's watching you. You giving it with the wrong mentality, he's watching. Number two, he says, return to me and make it right. He says, come back to the side of the blessing and, and stay away from the cursed place. Number three, he tells us how to make a generous offering. Number four, he will open the windows of heaven over your life. But number five, he'll open his mouth and tell the enemy to back off of your life. You ain't got to call me. You ain't got to inbox me. You ain't got to text me. Pray for me, Pastor. Pray that God would let the devil get up off me. I'm going to say to you, I pray that you obey God in your giving. Because I can't ask him to do something unless you're willing to do your part. Okay, y'all not talking. Remember, the Bible says that Miriam and Aaron they messed around and had leprosy. What did God tell them to do? Said, hey, put them out of the camp. What did Moses do? Moses came on, but God cannot. He said, hey, close your lips, Moses. We don't even form your lips to ask me, can they come back? Because watch this, they not doing their part. So God says, I got to check them. You ever had your mama to check your sibling and you come trying to take up and they tell you, shut up before you get some too. They told you, hush, unless you want some of this whipping too. You say, oh, no, 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 that's all right, I'm going to pass. I'll meet you in the room when you, yeah, when you finish screaming and hollering, yeah. So watch this. He says, you open your mouth, I'll tell the enemy to move off your life. All of this belongs to those who are generous in giving. Because God is generous with the generous. Please write that down. God is generous with the generous. And he wants you, through your own giving, to open the windows of heaven over your own life. You said, God, how do I get it? He said, through your own giving. Can I? Oh, she just said something. Y'all didn't hear what she said. She said, we be closing our own window. Doggone it. I close my, yeah, you close your own window. You should have been talking about the devil don't did this. This is it. No, no, no. God said, no, 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 no. Now don't get me wrong. That joker is guilty of a whole lot of stuff. No, not this one. This is on you, boo. So, as they said, this on you, boo boo. Yeah, because you closed your own window. Stop talking about the devil. The devil don't took my money. No, he didn't take your money. Mm-mm. You spent your money at the casino pulling that slot. Ah, ah, Russian on roulette. Five. I need five. Yeah. You spent your money in places. Now you don't have the right amount of money. See, the enemy don't have any hands. He don't have any feet to make you do nothing. It's the power of suggestion. He suggests to your mind. I'm losing my audience. Yeah, I should have stayed over on the 4,500 tons. Yeah, it's the power of suggestion. Hey, I'm done tonight. I hope this blessed you tonight. I got 15 minutes. I'm done. If this blessed you tonight, just type this in the chat. 4,500 tons. Oh, we need that shirt. We need that shirt. 4,500 tons. I hope this blessed you tonight. I hope this teaching blessed you tonight. 4,500 tons. Yeah, 4,500 tons. Yeah. All right. I hope this blessed you. Hey, what spoke to you guys tonight? You online, what spoke to you tonight? I'm done teaching tonight. I don't close the notes up. I can't wait to give you the rest. Come on, y'all. Come on.
Overflow without understanding that we have an assignment first that must be completed. Like you mentioned this morning's note, it's a then, it's an action. The first step is what we have to do. Then you will receive the overflow. But we just want the last step, and we don't want to. We just want to jump to the last step.
Let me ask. Let me ask you. You want the promotion, right? At the job, right? What's the first thing you got to do in the morning? You gotta get up. You gotta get dressed. I mean, if you just jumped up and went to the job with your jammies on, with your hot breath, crust in your eyes. Come on, I'm coming to get my breakthrough. Mm, no, not today. You won't, boo boo. Go home. Yeah, you got a sick day today. You gonna take that sick day.
It's like we have a sense of entitlement. Like we said, "Oh, I'm a Christian. I believe in God," and so now I'm entitled. Okay, God, I gave my life to you. Now pour out the blessing. God, I gave my life to you. Now make everything easy. And it doesn't work like that.
I think we think God is going to overlook His principle just to bless you. And if God is grading on the curve for you, He got the grade on the curve for everybody else. Jesus, you grade on the curve for her? I got to be next. Yeah. No, He's not grading on the curve. People come
But see, the
thinking,
enemy will make us think that.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, they
yeah.
doing this, and they still blessed. And so I think I don't know if it was last time we were talking about that mindset, and I think that's the beginning of it all. Is what our mind thinks and how our mind functions. We have a strong mind and believe everything and think somebody's doing better and God's blessing somebody and why you ain't blessing me
I actually used to think that, God, I think you open windows and doors for everybody else and you won't open them for me. What is it that I've done wrong? What is it that, and we go through the deductions in our mind because we're trying to rationalize. I know they ain't doing no better than I am. God, why you bless them? And God says, hold on. You don't even know their story. You don't even know their process. Yeah, you don't even know about how they give.
right.
You want this. Yeah, you want it's like, okay, God, I want this mega church. He said, okay, cool. I got you. And then you're like, okay, God, where you at? He said, well, wait a minute. God, well, why you bless them? He said, hey, they go out. They out there witnessing. They out there talking to people. You sitting at the house on Xbox. You sitting there on PlayStation.
I think our minds live in this place of comparison. And I saw a thing on Instagram today where somebody was like got upset at their spouse because like if I post you on the internet, cooking dinner or something like that, and then to Noah looking like my husband ain't cooking dinner, and all these things about comparison. And now it's so easy because we put our picture perfect lives out for the world to see, and immediately it doesn't encourage us to do better or to see the good in those around us. It's like, why their daughter got straight A's? Why their husband cooking dinner? Why their wife, bringing in all like all of these things, and when you start to compare, that's what the enemy wants us to do. Live in this state of comparison. When if we just know and believe that God gave us all our own identity, we all have our own purpose, and if we would focus on us and the gifts that He gave us and everything that's us, we wouldn't get into this place of comparison. Open. Yes, our window would be open for 4,500 tons. How would it be different if people actually posted, I'm struggling. This is what I'm going through on a day-to-day basis. I'm struggling with getting in my word. I'm struggling with praying. Maybe it would be easier to be relatable to someone. It would be easier to build a bond off of, the power of Christ. So,
I think the whole thing of transparency, you know, being transparent before God, I'm really struggling in this area, Lord. Help me.
And that's it. I think there's a place for vulnerability, but the first place is transparency in front of God. Because you can't necessarily be around everybody. Everybody doesn't mean you good. But if you are honest with God and you're open with God, say, God, I want to do better in this. I want to read my word more. I want to be a better giver. Help me. Like that's the best place. And that's what it's meant for, is that with Him.
Hey, I hope everybody has enjoyed this tonight. Um, I know everybody always wants the wealth of God. You want to be like Indiana Jones, somehow find your way to God's room where all the wealth is. I don't know when you get there what you're gonna do. But he says it's a place where thieves and robbers can't even break into.
Right.
It's where thieves and robbers can't get to, and so I think we have to get to the place that if we really want to see the hand of God break open over our lives, we have to ask ourselves how much of a giver I am. I'm expecting the Father to give to me, but how much of a giver, what am I giving to Him? Is this making sense, y'all? What am I giving to Him? Am I just a consumer or am I a giver? How many times did you see somebody next to you sitting, didn't have something, and you just paid for your stuff and left out? Or did you say, you know what, don't worry about it, I got you today? I was watching something on TikTok the other day, and actually, I don't know who the country singer was, but he had went through the line, right? He was in the line, didn't have security, any of that. Keith Keith Urban, I think that's what his name was. Anyway, he went through the line. He was at the grocery store. He was just buying some stuff. But when they got up there, he didn't have his wallet. He's checking. He don't have his wallet. He was like, "Oh, I don't have my wallet." And the lady said, "No problem. I got it." So she went on and she paid for it. Didn't know who he was. She just thought he was a regular old guy, right? And then after she pays for it, she looks him in the face and says, "You look so much like Keith Urban." I think that's what his name is. And he laughs and he said, "That's me." He says, "I normally don't come out without bodyguards or sending somebody to do it. But that day, God allowed him to forget his wallet. This woman pays. Now this woman gets to meet the person that she idolizes, her celebrity gets a chance to meet him and develop a bond because she paid for his little under $20 grocery. Wonder who you could bless that you didn't even have a clue who they really were. Yeah. So this week, I want to say something. Write this down. Write this down real quick. Tweet it, post it, put it in your notes. All right? Here's the application. Here's the application. That Lorraine said, doggone it, I had just put all my stuff up. All right? Here we go. Find someone and bless them this week. Find 3 people and bless them. All right. All right. Let me that multiplication. Let me scale it back for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me scale it back. All right. Watch this. Find someone and bless them that you do not know. Whether it's at the grocery store, at the let me pump your gas for you. What can I do to help? Find somebody and bless them. All right. All right. All right. Bless you. That's what I wanted to say to you tonight. Hey, have an amazing night. Hey, listen, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Those of you that will sow a seed tonight, support Connect Church Raleigh. Okay, there we go. It's up on the screen. Would you support? Yeah. Would you support Connect Church Raleigh with a seed tonight? Whatever you want to give tonight, support with a seed tonight. I'm asking that you would support with one seed
I
tonight.
can't believe
Support with one seed tonight. Oh, we got some unruly saints here.
just one.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your liberal giving, supporting the ministry as we endeavor to teach and train. You know what I want to do? Um, I'm getting more in the mindset because I love the teaching more than anything, and I'm excited just to see people grow. All right. Thank you so much for giving tonight. I can't wait to see you on tomorrow at our 8:30 a.m. Daily connection. All right. Have an amazing night, and I'll see you on the flip side of tomorrow. Bye bye.